So I didn't think this was possible to find land in multiple Canadian provinces selling for under $20,000. Every single one of them is over 5 acres, has road access, and is freehold. So you can literally do whatever you want with it. And the crazy part is that some of them are actually kind of nice. They also have to be actively listed on realtor.ca, so no off the market or expired listings. And just to keep things fair, I went province by province, starting with the most expensive of the cheapest, working my way down all the way to the cheapest property that you can find here in Canada. And just out of curiosity's sake, I will be breaking it down cost per acre as well, so keep that in mind. Now, starting off the list here is the Yukon at $350,000 for 5.2 acres. Now, you would think they'd be cheaper with all that land up there, but currently listed on realtor.ca, this is all we had to look at. Was this one and a couple other properties that were like 40 million bucks, which obviously that's not the cheapest. But it's also not a province, which I get that, but I just wanted to include the territories real quick because Yukon was the only territory that had properties that fit the bill here. Both Northwest Territories and none of it didn't have any properties that really fit the bill. So I just wanted to touch on this one real quick. But $350,000 for 5.2 acres, which is just around the $70,000 an acre mark, which, in my opinion, is pretty expensive for what you're getting here. You know, a 5-acre parcel of land in the middle of nowhere. It's got road access. It's 5 acres. It's freehold, but I don't know who's going to be buying that one. Then we're moving on to the next one, which is Newfoundland at $44,000. And now you think, this is more what I was expecting, you know, $44,000. What is it? 21.5 acres, which equates to $2,046 an acre, which is pretty nice in my opinion here. Again, most of these properties, well, all of them are going to be just vacant land here. And it's kind of interesting, just the big rectangle or long rectangle here. And when I was doing the research on this video, a lot of properties came up like this. And really, in my opinion, because I've never been here, is that the infrastructure for the road systems isn't quite there. So they just have these big long strips of land, and then the one little sector there has road access and everything else doesn't. So let me know if you kind of agree, or if you know the exact reason behind that one. Now we're on to British Columbia, which truly kind of surprised me. I actually thought it was going to be higher up on the list, like even if not the most highest on the list. But we're in Fort Fraser here. $42,000 gets you 5 acres, which is about $8,400 an acre. So a little bit more than the other one, but not as much as Whitehorse, which I think is going to be hard to beat here in this list. But 5 acres, fully forested. That's a word. Not much else to say. We got Fort Fraser, Prince George. So you can kind of see where it is. I imagine this property was going to be in the northern parts of British Columbia. Then we have Vanderhoof, and if you've ever been there, there's a sign there saying the center of British Columbia, which is it's kind of cool. I've been there a few times, but there it is right there if you're curious on looking at that property. But hey, 5 acres, forest, what was that, $42,000? Let's move on. Now we're at Manitoba, coming in at $34,700, 5.7 acres. So it's about 6,000, what do we got here? 87 bucks an acre. Only 25 minutes from Russell, Manitoba. Let's look at some pictures here. What do we got going on here? And a lot of these, you're thinking about, maybe it's a recreational property. Maybe you're buying it and then putting a house on it. Obviously, you'd have to check with the specific zoning to know exactly what you're wanting to do. But here it is, a little piece of land here. This one's got quite a few pictures on it, actually. Nice fence. Let's scroll down a little faster. A couple green spots. It's funny. I saw those 33 pictures and they all look the same to me. So, but hey, if you want to buy some land in Manitoba, $34,700 bucks. That's what gets you that. Now moving on to Prince Edward Island, which is number 7 on our list, coming in at $29,900, and that gets you 25 acres. I'm like, dang, That sounds pretty good to me. Now, if you live here in Prince Edward Island, like, let me know. I'd love to come check out this area. I've never been to PEI. I would love to check out all of the provinces on the eastern coast because this looks beautiful. Like this, to me, this looks like British Columbia in a sense with just the trees. Obviously, it's quite a bit flatter than BC, but I would definitely go check it out there. So 25 acres, like I said, $29,900. Road front access there. You can literally just like plow a road into the back there, put a house, and kind of call it a day. I'm like seeing the same picture over and over again. I think we get the point here. Now moving on to Saskatchewan, similar price here, $29,900, but only for 5.06 acres. So this is number 6 on our list. And the price per acre is $5,909. So a little bit more expensive than obviously PEI, but it is going to get cheaper here. So stick around until the end here. But this one didn't really give me much. They just got one picture. I'm like, Wade, come on, man. You gotta at least sell me this property here. But it looks like there's a gas line going through the property, which obviously that's going to have some restrictions as far as what you can do. And really it just looks like they took this property and then just cut out, 5 lots essentially. So Saskatchewan, $29,900. That's the cheapest you're going to get right now. Now coming in at number 5 here is Alberta for $27,000. And I was kind of shocked that it was, I guess, how can I say that, this expensive? Like I really did think that Alberta was going to have cheaper property. But here we are, $27,000 buys you a plot of land that's 5 acres, which comes in around $5,357 an acre. So again, not the cheapest, but 27 grand for 5 acres, that's not too bad. And even just looking at this little floor plan, this development site here, the different lots and stuff, it could be a really good time. You could have some friends and family all having a lot here, and then who's living beside you, and you don't have to worry about your neighbors. So that could be a fun one there. But yeah, Alberta, I thought you were going to be cheaper. I truly did. Then coming in at number 4 was New Brunswick. Here at $19,900 for 64.2 acres. Not too shabby, really. Look at this design here. You kind of get an interesting shaped property here. But that equates to $309 an acre. That is pretty cheap. Now, I'm sure if you got, properties big enough, like in the thousands of acres, it could be cheaper per acre. But that's pretty cheap, $309 an acre. Now, this is one picture here. Obviously, you got the road access right there. Kind of a weird shape. But New Brunswick, if you're looking for cheap property, especially per acre, this is where you got to go. Coming in at number 3, here is Quebec with the 3rd cheapest property here at $19,900. So it technically ties for 4th, but I just decided to put this one at 3rd here. GST, QST. And what was interesting is this is going to be developed like a multi-site, I guess multi-property site here. We got the road coming in and you have a whole bunch of parcels for sale. So you could literally get you and 14 of your buddies here to all buy land, and it would be interesting. I was gonna say it was gonna be a good time, but I'm not too sure if that would be the case here. And then the land size being about 5.85 acres, I think it was, would equate to $3,401 per acre. Kind of an interesting piece of property there. Now coming in at number 2 is Nova Scotia. Again, another province I haven't been. Would love to check out the East Coast. If you have a place there, come let me stay, just saying. But $17,500. We have 25.8 acres coming in at $678 an acre. Very cheap, but very much in the middle of nowhere. You got a road here coming in, nice rectangle block. We got Launchland Lake, probably butchering that. And this is most likely going to be some hunter's paradise where you can go put a cabin and away you go kind of thing. Now coming in at number 1 is Ontario, which kind of blew me away because we hear of Ontario and we just think Ontario and British Columbia, the most expensive provinces. But we have this piece of land for sale And the most blurriest of map you could look at, going for $14,900, which was, I think I did the math on, oh, right there. Didn't have to do the math. 5.365 acres, which is $2,777 an acre. Kim, you could at least gotten a better picture. Like that one's off your iPhone, and that one's from, I don't know, Google or something. But looks like got some trees there. You got a bit of a front clearing there right off the main drag. Highway 11, Trans-Canada. Kind of surprised with this one. I thought Ontario was going to be kind of near British Columbia when it comes to these cheaper properties. And there you have it, the cheapest land in every Canadian province. And a couple of those shocked me, especially the Ontario one being the cheapest 5-acre or 5-acre plus freehold road access property. I really did think that the prairies, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, were going to take the cake on this one. Obviously, there's some cheap properties out on the East Coast there. Now, what did you think when it came to some of these properties? Would you actually buy some of these properties, or would you use it for recreational? Would you like bulldoze a whole bunch of trees and put a house on there? Like obviously some of them were kind of lots, but some of them were just properties in the middle of nowhere. So I'm curious what you think. Now, after watching the cheapest land here in Canada, and you're wondering what the cheapest house in every Canadian province is, you're going to want to click this video right here where I go through the exact same principles, exact same format, and I find the cheapest properties. And some of them, like I said, they blew me away. But as always, I appreciate you watching, sticking around with me, but I'll see you in the next one.